After a winter storm affected the whole state, several statewide agencies have been trying to get roads clear all day today. They've been working longer shifts than normal to clear these roads, and they're starting to be passable today, but there might still be problems tomorrow. Every corner of Missouri got some sort of winter weather this weekend. In response, troopers, MoDOT plow crews, and the National Guard are working around the clock to keep roads safe.
Troopers, especially in the heavily impacted areas of the state, are working 24-hour coverage throughout this event.
Lieutenant Eric Brown tells me Missouri State Highway Patrol helped about 1,500 stranded drivers statewide since the winter storm started. Troopers responded to one deadly crash in Jackson County over the weekend.
With a significant amount of snowfall that made travel really impossible in a lot of areas, and was difficult for emergency responders to work through during some of those worst parts of the storm.
About 200 Missouri National Guard service members were activated by Governor Mike Parson's executive order Friday. I'm told the soldiers are assisting drivers in the most affected areas of the state and stand ready to help clear debris and fallen power lines if needed. As snowfall stops, MoDOT is able to clear roads, and officials say they expect passable conditions in the morning for major highways.
We still have a lot of cleanup to do with barrier walls, bridges, cleaning those shoulders off, working on those outer roads.
Darren Hamelink with MoDOT tells me drivers should still drive carefully Tuesday morning, as dramatically cold temperatures make it difficult for crews to thaw ice, and refreeze is possible overnight.
Anything that we don't get completely dry is going to refreeze, so that's something that drivers just need to be aware of going into tonight and tomorrow morning.
MoDOT tells me they are gearing up for another possible round of snow later this week, but they're hoping that one will not be as severe as this weekend. Reporting in Columbia, I'm Hannah Falcon, WGEM News.